Jaya Vāmana Dev Jaya Vāmana Dev Jaya Vāmana Dev. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Astatar Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Astatar Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sikaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasati Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Dharma Ki Jai Mayapur Navadip Dharma Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dharma Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. We have one. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, and all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So I will begin now with this incredibly magical pastime. Fasten your seatbelts very tightly. You may have a tendency to bounce up and bounce out. So I'll begin now. King Bali conquered the entire universe. The Brahmin descendants of Bhrigu were very pleased with him, so they engaged him in performing 100 horse sacrifices, just as Indra had done long ago, and which had entitled him to the heavenly throne. This type of sacrifice clearly established the sovereignty of a king over all other leaders. After Bali completed the sacrifices, he became formally entitled to Indra's throne, and he ruled from it accordingly. Thus his fame in the three worlds, the lower, middle, and upper planets, increased significantly. I could use some water if there's somebody in the back near a cup and near a faucet. Thank you. Thus his fame in the three worlds, the lower, middle, and upper planets, increased significantly. Indeed, he shone like a full moon among the twinkling stars. But little did Bali know that Indra's mother, Aditi, would become his greatest nemesis. Nemesis is an enemy. Who could imagine that she would become the catalyst that would cause Bali to insult all the Brahmins who had empowered him? Although she was devoid of the physical or the fighting power of Bali, she had recourse to a far superior power, one whom she knew could never fail. The sage Kashyapa had been away for many days in seclusion, meditating. After he arose from his trance, he returned to his ashram in Amala-bhakta. When he entered the sitting room, his wife Aditi respectfully received and welcomed him. Sitting down, he noticed that the ashram looked neither joyful nor merry, and that Aditi was quite sullen. "What's bothering you?" he asked. Aditi found it difficult to answer him. "Did you violate some ethical or religious principles?" She shook her head. "How are your sons faring?" "Not well," she said sadly. "Oh? Bali and the demons, they've..." "Yes?" "Well, they've taken my sons' wealth and fame, even their homes." "Where are they now?" "Scattered all over the universe." Then she tearfully added, "My dear husband, you're a great sage. You have the power to grant blessings. Therefore, I would like you to bless my sons." "With what?" "With the return of everything that's been taken from them." Kashyapa smiled and said, Why are you so attached to those material illusions, sons and property, wealth and fame?" Aditi lowered her head and shook it morosely. She was not in the mood for high philosophy now. She simply felt the pangs of a bereaved mother and wanted practical relief. Observing this, Kashyapa said, "If you perform devotional service to Lord Vishnu, he will surely fulfill your wish." Aditi looked up and opened her eyes wide. "Please tell me exactly what I have to do." He then explained to her the 12-day Payovrata ritualistic ceremony. This consisted of observing an austere diet, chanting a specific mantra, uttering reverential prayers, and worshiping the Lord with certain items, as well as donating charity to the Lord's priests and devotees, offering oblations into a sacrificial fire, reciting scriptural passages, and feeding all caste members with holy food that was first offered to and blessed by the Lord. She would also have to observe complete celibacy, sleep on the floor, bathe 3 times daily, refrain from materialistic conversation, and avoid harboring envious thoughts. "This is the best process," he concluded, "because it pleases the Supreme Lord." "And if he's pleased, he'll satisfy my wish?" Aditi asked. "Absolutely." Aditi smiled hopefully, ready to begin. Kashyapa's wife diligently followed her husband's instructions, concentrating her mind solely on the Supreme Lord, Vishnu. After she completed the 12-day program, the Lord appeared before her in his 4-armed form. Seeing him, Aditi offered obeisances and was overwhelmed with transcendental bliss. Tears flowed from her eyes, and her body trembled. Then she expressed heartfelt prayers, emphasizing the Lord's unlimited mercy and divinity. Pleased by her discipline and devotion, God revealed how he intended to help her. Again, second calling. If anyone can bring some water before I have to leave the lectern, that would be appreciated. Thank you. Yes, is it there? Sorry, it was done behind my back. Literally. So I'll take a few moments out. Sorry for the false condemnation. Thanks. So, but he strongly advised her to not disclose his plan to anyone, or it would not be successful. After some time, Aditi became pregnant and gave birth to a boy. But this was no ordinary boy. He was Lord Vishnu himself. At this time, souls everywhere felt immense happiness. Celestial beings played music, sang songs, danced, showered flowers on Aditi's residence, and glorified and praised the Lord. All over the sounds of victory could be heard. Then something amazing happened. Standing before Aditi and Kashyapa, the child changed his 4-armed form into that of a 2-armed form, and he looked like a dwarfish brahmachari, celibate monk. Then the sages performed his birthday and sacred thread ceremony and named him Vāmana. Each of the distinguished guests present, the gods and sages, gave him a gift for wearing or carrying that he needed for his monastic lifestyle. One day Lord Vāmana learned that King Bali was performing a horse sacrifice under the patronage of the Brahmins belonging to the Bhrigu dynasty. He therefore decided to show his mercy to the king by attending the event. It was being conducted on a field known as Bhrigu Kacha. On the northern bank of the Narmada River. Arriving there, he immediately entered the outdoor sacrificial arena. When the Bhrigu priest saw him, he looked so effulgent like the rising sun, that he robbed all the assembly members of their splendor. Who is he? Asked one priest. Probably the sun god, another priest answered. No, I think he's Sanat Kumara, a third priest said. He looks more like the fire god to me, said a fourth priest. Almost everyone there could not help gazing at him. His blonde hair was matted and twirled into a bun atop his head. He was wearing a deerskin, a straw belt, a sacred thread across his chest, Rudraksha beads around his neck, and was holding a staff, an umbrella, and a filled water pot. All the priests and their disciples first stood up from their seats and then respectfully welcomed him by bowing down. Although they did not know who he actually was, they knew from his radiance that he was someone highly spiritual. King Bali was joyful to see him, so he offered him a comfortable seat. He then washed his feet worshipfully and poured the holy water onto his own head. "O Brahmin," he said, "welcome to the sacrifice. Please accept my respects." Bali bowed down and then stood up. "Please let us know what we may do for you." "Do?" This is a little brahmachari and he's very young, so the voice will be a little different and a little more high-pitched than the usual voices that I'm doing. "Please let us know what we may do for you." "Do?" "Yes. By your coming here, my ancestors, family, and dynasty have been blessed, and your presence has made my sacrifice complete." The Lord smiled affably. "And all the pains I was destined to suffer from the sins I committed in the past, they've all been washed away by the water that just bathed my head. Please tell me how I may serve you. Take whatever you like: a cow, gold, furnished house, Brahmin wife, some tasty food and drink, thriving villages, houses, horses, elephants." The Lord praised Bali for his ingratiating and accommodating manner. Although Bali had been born in a demon family, he nonetheless possessed many devotional qualities. This was because his grandfather, King Prahlad, was an exalted devotee of Lord Vishnu. Consequently, the Lord had blessed Prahlad's descendants to be devotionally inclined also. Lord Vāmana said, "I know that no one in your family has refused to give charity to the Brahmins or accept challenges by warriors. So you're an exemplary leader." "O Brahmin, thank you," Bali said graciously, "but how may I serve you?" The Lord considered Bali's offer. "Is there something you would like?" the king asked. "Yes, there is." "Such as?" "I would like some land." "I'll be glad to oblige. Just tell me how much you want." "As much as I can cover with my 3 steps." 3 steps? Bali thought he was joking. "Yes, that will be enough." "But why such a small amount?" "Because that's all I really need." "Are you sure?" "Yes, definitely." Bali smiled at Vāmana affectionately. "My dear Brahmin, you're still a young boy, so I don't think you know it's in your best interest." "I don't?" the Lord asked with surprise. Bali shook his head. "I can give you an entire planet, and all you're asking for is 3 steps worth of land? I don't think that's very smart." "Really?" The Lord grinned. "Better take enough land so that you'll never have to ask for any more." No, 3 steps worth is enough. If I take more, I'll just get greedy." "I doubt that." "Then my desires, they'll never end, and I'll have to keep reincarnating just to satisfy them." Bali appreciated the boy's wisdom, but he still wanted him to take more. However, Vāmana firmly refused. "All right," smiled Bali. "Then take what you want." Shukracharya, Bali's guru, had been listening to the conversation and studying Vāmana. He called Bali aside and said to him, "Don't give the boy anything." "What?" Bali was surprised. "That's right, nothing." "But he's a Brahmin and—" "No, he's not a Brahmin. He's Lord Vishnu." "He's what?" "Yes, and he's come here to help your enemies, the gods." Bali was stunned. "Are you sure?" "Absolutely." Shukracharya then explained to Bali what the Lord's plan was, and further said, "The demon dynasty is now in a very dangerous position." "I see, but what can I do? I've made a promise to him." "Then break it." "Break it? A promise to a Brahmin?" The proposition sounded crazy, for Bali believed that such betrayal could only bring him a profusion of bad karma. "Yes," emphasized Shukracharya. The Bhavricha scripture says, that's the Bhavricha scripture, it says that a promise can be considered truthful only when it is preceded by the holy sound Om. Since you never said that word, in effect, you never really made a promise. Bali found it difficult to accept such reasoning, for it did not appeal to his heart. Noting the king's doubt, Shukracharya reassured him. "The scripture also says that one may lie if one's life is in danger." But that also did not find favor with Bali, so he remained silent for a while, deliberating carefully on the matter. Then he confidently said to his guru, "O Master, I don't think keeping my wealth is more important than keeping my promise." "What?" Shukracharya was surprised. "Once I break my word, and I become a cheater." "And are you challenging me?" interrupted Shukracharya. "And there is nothing worse than a cheater." You are challenging me, aren't you?" Even Mother Earth once said, "I can bear any heavy thing except a cheater." "How dare you speak to me in this way?" "Oh, Master, I'm less afraid of hell, poverty, distress, demotion, or even death than I am of cheating a Brahmin." Shukracharya glared at Bali. "Therefore, I will give this little Brahmin monk whatever he wants." "You rascal!" "I'm sorry, Master."
"You fool! How dare you pose yourself as a learned man before me?"
"I'm just trying to..."
"How dare you speak so impudently and disobey my order?"
"My lord, please try to..."
"For these offenses, you will soon lose your prosperity without fail."
Shukracharya wheeled around and stomped towards his Brahmin associates. Notwithstanding the curse, King Bali remained fixed in his determination. As was the custom, Bali's wife had a large golden water pot brought there for worshiping the Lord by worshiping his feet. Again, Bali bathed those lotus-like feet and poured the blessed water onto his own head as a benediction. In the sky, many celestials lauded the king's excellent qualities and showered down on him countless flowers. Then Bali said to the Lord, "You may now take your 3 steps." "Thank you," smiled Lord Vāmana. As everyone watched him, the Lord did something extremely miraculous. He began increasing his size until everything in the universe was within his body, including the earth, planets, sky, ocean, creatures, humans, gods, and saints, as well as the material elements, senses, mind, intelligence, false ego, and karma. King Bali thus saw everything in God's gigantic face and form, which now looked like Lord Vishnu. He had 8 arms, and in each hand he held one of the following: a conch shell, sword, shield, flaming discus, arrow, bow, lotus flower, and club. His garment was yellow, and he was decorated with flower garland. When Bali's demon followers saw this universal form, when they saw in the Lord's hand his whirling disc, which generates unbearable heat, and when they heard the tremendous sound of his twanging bow, they grieved deeply. The Lord then covered the sky with his body, all the directions with his arms, and the entire surface of the earth with his first step. Then he covered all the heavenly planets with his second step. In fact, the tips of his toenails even pierced
the covering of the material universe and penetrated the spiritual world. Through this hole, the Ganges water flowed down from the spiritual world to the material world. Thus, there was not a single spot remaining for the Lord to take his third step. When Lord Brahma, in his lofty planet, saw that its light was insignificant compared to the illumination radiating from the Lord's toenails, he, along with some great sages and yogis, approached the Lord and offered him prayers. He then washed the Lord's feet with the water in his pot, and the liquid became so pure that it was transformed into Ganges water. It then went flowing down from the sky and purified the three worlds, the upper, middle, and lower. The Lord suddenly metamorphosed himself back to his original diminutive, small Vāmana form. And Lord Brahma, the chief gods, the sages, and the yogis hastened from Brahma's planet down to the planet on which Bali's sacrifice was being conducted. Lord Brahma and those companions then worshipped Vāmana with water, fruits, roots, sprouts, flowers, grains, and lamps, and simultaneously offered him prayers of glorification and veneration. They also sang, danced, and played musical instruments, repeatedly shouting, "Victory! Victory! Jai! Jai!" Needless to say, Bali's demon followers, realizing that their leader had just lost all his prosperity, were angry. One of them said, "This Vāmana, he's no Brahmin, he's just a big cheater, masquerading as a Brahmin just to help the gods. He's exploited our king's truthfulness. I say we kill this Vāmana." The demons roared their approvals. Grabbing their lances and tridents, they headed angrily toward him. "Stop!" ordered Bali. "Stop!" But they ignored his command and sallied forth. As they neared Vāmana, the Lord's guards suddenly appeared there and stepped in front of him. Each possessed the strength of 10,000 elephants, and they readied their weapons for combat. "Don't come any closer," one guard warned. But the furious demons kept coming. "Halt!" shouted another guard. The demons ignored him. The guards then repulsed and killed many of Bali's soldiers. Noting this, Bali bellowed to his men, "Stop fighting! Time is against us! Stop!" The demons looked at Bali curiously. "We can't win now, so don't even try." Feeling morose, the demons lowered their weapons and surrendered. They were later driven in ships by Lord Vishnu's guards to the lower regions of the universe. Lord Vāmana summoned his eagle carrier, Garuda. Understanding the Lord's desire, Garuda arrested Bali with the ropes of Varuna. Although the king lost his luster, he was nonetheless fixed in his determination to satisfy the Lord. "O Bali," said Vāmana. "O Bali," said Vāmana, "you promised to give me 3 steps worth of land, but I have covered the whole universe with only 2 steps. Where should I take my 3rd? Bali was at a loss for words. "Since you have not kept your promise, the law is that you must live on one of the hellish planets." "The hellish planets?" "Yes." Bali considered how he could fulfill his word. Then he realized he had one remaining option. "O Lord, I know where you can take your 3rd step." "Oh? Where?" "On my head." "Your head?" "Yes. I am less concerned with losing all my possessions than I am of losing my honor. So please, step on my head." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. To have your lotus-like foot on my head will help destroy my false prestige and show me who I really am." Bali smiled, hopefully. "Thank you for your mercy, O Lord. At that moment, Bali's grandfather, King Prahlad, one of the most glorious of the Lord's devotees, appeared there. He was tall, darkish, long-armed, lotus-eyed, and wearing yellow clothing. Because Bali was bound by ropes, he could not properly respect Prahlad by bowing down. So he humbly lowered his head, tears flowing down his cheeks. On seeing the Lord, Prahlad became ecstatic. He prostrated himself before Vāmana and then rose to his feet, his palms prayerfully clasped. "My Lord," he said, "it was you who gave Bali the post of heavenly king, and it is you who have taken it away. This is your mercy." Mercy? Yes. Bali's lordly position as king of heaven was deluding him, but you have disillusioned him and made him realize how temporary and unfulfilling materialistic success is. Now he knows that the true goal of life is self-realization and not self-glorification. Such is your mercy. The Lord smiled affectionately at Prahlad. Lord Brahma then said, "O Lord, King Bali has been punished enough, for you have taken away all his property. Please release him." "Are you sure?" "Yes, he doesn't deserve any more punishment. He offered you everything he had, including even his own body. So why keep him under arrest?" "You are right. Although he has lost everything, including the blessings of his spiritual master, he has kept his promise and maintained his truthfulness." "Without a doubt, my lord." "Moreover, he has shown great tolerance in adversity. Therefore, in the distant future, during the rule of Sarvani Manu, Bali will become the king of heaven." Bali's tearful eyes opened wide in disbelief. How was this happening, he wondered. In the meanwhile, Vāmana continued, "He will live on one of the lower planets, Sutala, which I ordered Vishvakarma, the heavenly architect, to create, and I have specially protected that place. So it is free of physical and mental sufferings." Lord Brahma was gladdened to hear this. The Lord then looked at Bali. "O king, you may now go there and live peacefully with your friends and relatives. No one will be able to conquer you there. Any demons who transgress your rule, I will kill with my disc. What's more, I will always be with you and protect you in all respects. Also, your materialistic ideas and anxieties that have come from your contact with the demons, they will all disappear, and you will always be able to see me there. All good fortune to you." With teary eyes, clasped palms, and a faltering voice, Bali ecstatically replied, "You have blessed me, a fallen demon, with more mercy than you have ever blessed any of the gods." "Thank you, my lord." Bali was then released from the bondage of Varuna's ropes. Fully satisfied, he offered obeisances to Lord Vāmana, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. The Lord then said to King Prahlad, "Go and join your grandson Bali in Sutta and enjoy happiness with him and your other relatives." Was Sutala. "With pleasure, my lord." "Due to your divine bliss, you will see me there in my four-armed form, and that will free you from any bondage to materialistic activities." "Thank you again, O Lord." Prahlad and Bali, after offering the Lord their respects, then departed for the planet Sutala. Vāmana next looked at Shukracharya, who was seated nearby among the assembly of priests. "O Brahmin, do you still think King Bali committed an offense against you?" "An offense? Isn't that what you said to him?" "Yes, I did, but..." "Then?" "My lord, since he has obviously satisfied you, it would appear that, "Yes?" "That I committed the offense by cursing a faultless person." Sukracharya humbly bowed his head and folded his palms. My lord, please order me, since your order will benefit not only me, but the whole world. All right, then you should make amends for the offense you committed at Bali's sacrifice. Yes, I shall do so, surely. Thus Indra, the king of heaven, by the Lord's mercy, regained his rule over the lower, middle, and upper planets. Again supremely opulent, he became fearless and fulfilled. All the gods glorified Lord Vāmana's extraordinary activities and praised the superlative effort of Indra's loving mother, Aditi. Had she not undergone the Payovrata process and invoked the unfailing grace of the Lord, her son, Indra, would still be wanting and miserable. We can thus understand how important it is to keep our promise, even when we may become apparently disadvantaged. In the course of striving to discover ourselves, being greatly pleased, the Lord rewards us for such truthfulness with countless blessings, as King Bali so joyfully discovered. If this story about Lord Vāmana is recited at any ceremony, such as at a marriage, birthday, memorial, etc., that occasion should be understood to be extremely auspicious. Whoever hears this story, or any story about Lord Vishnu, becomes free from all of one's future unfavorable karma that would have resulted from one's past immoral activities. Moreover, one may be elevated to the higher planets or even to the spiritual world. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Lord Vāmanadev. All glories to all the devotees of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Again, all of you who have listened to this and have just received these blessings, thank you for allowing me to serve you. All glories to your service to me. Hare Krishna.